"Where are you going?" he demanded, sitting up, and she just gave him a look and stood. What was the purpose of this endeavour? Oh, he thought he'd quite forgotten about the dinner and the pettiness that got them here in the first place. "Oh, of course, wear something blue to match your eyes," was all he could think to say before he sat up quickly and moved to capture her hand before she left. Nastya turned to him wide-eyed and could only smile when he stood and pulled her in for a warm kiss. "I enjoyed that very much," he murmured against her lips, and could feel her smile widen. "This at least is one space wherein we understand each other perfectly." Pulling away, she headed for the door, and he watched it close before he rested back against the bed with a contented sigh. He'd had lots of sex on lots of planets with exotic girls, but none of them could compare to his wife. Getting up, he ran a hand through his dark hair and sighed softly. Nastya played him like a well-tuned instrument without even trying very hard. For a lustful moment he wondered what it'd be like if she put thought into her seduction. That's a thought." He sighed and looked down at his feet for a moment. Wasn't that the problem in a nutshell, though? She knew how to seduce him, she knew how to manipulate his body until he was raging with lust. Didn't that mean that she also knew how to manipulate his mind into devoting every moment to her? If she could do the one, why hadn't she done the other? It was a perplexing thought as he stepped into the ion and switched on the cycle. "Don't be stupid," he murmured, as he stepped from the ion seconds later and found his eyes in the mirror. "I'd know if she was using manipulation against me." He reminded himself softly. He'd grown up with monstrous parents, and he'd watched his maman cajole and manipulate his Abban for all of his childhood. So why wouldn't Nastya try to manipulate him and use her training in that manner? It would make her life so much easier. Maybe she didn't love him after all. If she did, she'd try at least. "Stop overthinking this," he ordered himself as he stepped into his quiet room and kicked at his boots angrily where they stood by the bed. This was why he couldn't talk to her, because he could never be sure how she felt or if anything she said was real, or because she thought that's what he needed her to say. She was a companion after all, and making him think she was devoted to him was ingrained in her training. Pathetic. It was pathetic that he still cared. He was one of the wealthiest, most powerful men in the galaxy, and here he was, unable to understand his wife. He'd charged into battle against races of every kind, and he'd faced death so many times. Yet Nastya was his biggest fear. Losing her was his biggest fear. Pathetic. It was pathetic that he didn't know how to tell her. Find the e-book for the Companions of Nadah-Araxi for pre-order now on all major platforms. Release date is the 15th of September 2025. Hard copies will be available on 23rd of October 2025. Link in the description.